Without Proudfoot around in Georgia, it wound up being his teammate Jim Revis carrying on the JBE dominance. But this means our new championship leader, Northcutt, was not able to maximize his points. Will his fleeting hopes be dashed today in Charlotte? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch Round 9 of the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series. And you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is DJ Clark. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Charlotte is, of course, more well-known for the much older paved oval right next door. But this track has built itself its own history, so let's check it out in our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Charlotte. No, not the big oval that hosts the World 600 and the Roval. We're heading just a short walk off of Turn 4 to the dirt track. The only thing shared between the two is the name. The stadium-style facility, built in the year 2000, has nearly 14,000 seats and plays host to dirt lake models, modified sprint cars, even monster trucks, and the prestigious World of Outlaws World Finals. On iRacing, it came to the service in 2018 with the Dirt Movement and plays host to several rounds of official iRacing sanctioned dirt events as well as thousands of private league events. At 0.4 of a mile, the turns are where the action is. 10 degrees of banking awaits the drivers as they haul off into Turn 1. The short radius of the corners makes slide jobs the name of the game, rewarding the bravest drivers to send it into the corner like the postman and wrestle track position away. Boasting a day version and a night version, this allows the full dynamic sky range that iRacing offers, providing for a beautiful visual that serves as a backdrop to the even better racing. Corners that you can stack cars in 3, 4, and even 5 wide for the bravest. Lots of action, deceptively fast, beautiful backdrops. All of these things add up to what makes this place unique. This has been our guide to the Charlotte Dirt Oval. I'm Brian Yazik. Enjoy the show.
DJ, much like the bigger track next door has kind of become the standard here on paved oval racing, we have a pretty typical format here on the dirt side too.
Yeah, we do indeed, Joe, with the progressive banking around the dirt track at Charlotte going from 2 to 12 degrees. Pretty much in any car you come to here, it tends to be a high line dominant track. That said, if you're aggressive, you can get down to the low line, but drivers are going to find that a little bit more difficult in these cars in particular. The heavy street stocks kind of need to keep that momentum going. But the wider nature of the corners themselves means that we'll definitely see some room and opportunity for some slide jobs to be thrown, maybe some aggressive driving, and drivers are going to have to be careful to read the track as it goes. If that high line gets a little bit too rubbered in, watch for them to start working their way down the track to maybe a middle line, trying to find that lesser gripped in area.
And we'll be keeping an eye on that all race long. But before we get to that, let's talk about the championship here, because as we mentioned, without Brandon Proudfoot there, he has fallen behind in the points. There's no drop weeks in this series, so Northcutt is now up at the front, but it is not very many between himself and Brandon Proudfoot, because he only got 4th place. Now, Bobby Rafferty also gains a little bit. J.R. Shepard is in there, and Jim Revis climbs up into the top 5, but he's quite a ways back, and we're towards the end of the season, so he's very much a dark horse in this. Honestly, much of the attention is still on Proudfoot, expected to be able to rebound, but you never know. In the meantime, DJ, you've got the race details here for today's event.
I do indeed. We're working on the 9th round here in this BRL Dirt Street Stock Series, and as we mentioned, they are racing the big, heavy dirt street stocks. Now, the way that this is going to work is the drivers are currently out on track for a 20-minute practice session. Now, that'll be followed by a 5-minute 4-lap solo qualifying session. Drivers will have time. They will not have everybody else on track, and that'll determine the starting order for the heat races. In those heat races, it'll be a maximum of 6 cars, and the top 2 will advance. Those will be 6-lap shootouts with no yellows. All cars that don't advance will then be relegated to the B main. And because we have 20 cars out here on track tonight, that B main is not just for position. You finish in the bottom 2 orders, you are done. Good night. You are not making it to the A main. When we get to that A main, it's going to be 40 laps long, and that is the first time on the track you will see yellows. Also, as we mentioned, you will not be seeing this track get retouched at all. It is not going to reset, so what you see is what you get.
Already there's a couple lines starting to form in. I'm seeing a number of them try some sliders out, which I'm kind of expecting to be the modus operandi for any sort of passes here today, DJ. And Brandon Proudfoot has actually been trying it quite a lot. So I wonder if that says something, considering his pace has him down in 9th here in the warm-up. He's kind of had his only weakness be his qualifying, so I guess he kind of has to try and practice some passes.
Yeah, indeed, most certainly. And as we ride on board here with Justin Morton, Justin, one of the drivers I expect to do pretty well here tonight. Saw him out in the majors over the weekend, doing pretty well for himself out at Darlington with some alternate strategy options. But Justin likes to run the high line a lot of times, so maybe this is going to be a track that suits that number 9.
Certainly running that high line right now, right up against the wall, giving himself almost no space in there. They got to be careful about that in the qualifying. If they touch that wall, that will delete the lap that they're on. They'll only get 4 tries added as well. So this practice will probably serve him well, get him an idea of just where that limit is so that he doesn't get the 0x incident for wall touch and cost him that lap time. So Rafferty is right now our fastest driver in the warm-up, just to give us a feeling for things. Hargrave's looking good, no surprise there. And Revis keeping up the pace from last time, currently sits in 3rd. But as the bottom and the top line start to get worn in, that middle line, you can see all the gunk and stuff that is collecting in there. At what point does that become somewhat quicker when we get those 2 extremes too slicked up?
Well, they're going to have to be careful because there's not a lot of grip there. It'll operate a little bit like driving on marbles on an oval, that you'll kind of slip and slide your way through there. The tire's not really able to get any sort of traction down on the dirt. But you're right, Joe, there will be a point where they're going to have to go into it to try to get some good lap times. Segala there using those sort of marbles to his advantage, putting the rear tires in it, letting the front tires grip down to the grippier part of the lower track, and then letting the rear tires slide their way along, almost acting like a pivot point.
Everybody's certainly experimenting here early on just to see what the track can do, and this might wind up being important as well, just because of that qualifying. Since this track is not going to be reset, as we heard DJ mention, they need to really get familiar, try and figure out top line, bottom line, what's going to be fast for them personally. And we'll see how that shakes out in about 2 minutes' time while the last of this warm-up finishes up. So far, if this is your first time tuning in for the season, Brandon Proudfoot, the reason we expect him still to be a favorite despite a lack of speed right now in the warm-up is every race that he has attended this season, which is all but one, he's taken victory. So last week was the first time we've seen someone else in victory lane this season in the Dirt Street Stock Series. And as we mentioned, Revis taking that one. We'll probably want to try and see if he can repeat that, but this time with a much harder challenger to face off with.
Yeah, most certainly. Everybody coming out here today, and good to see just as many as they are. Joe, I'm also excited that we're going to see a little bit of bumping out here. That is a level of excitement that we really haven't seen over the course from this series in a hot minute. So I think that's really going to make the B main and those heat races all the more exciting.
Absolutely. And that puts a little bit of pressure on Proudfoot. If he has a bad race, then it really can have some serious consequences and put him even farther down the order, which he could still climb out of that hole, but that will not be an easy one. So he has to mainly focus on not finishing in the last 2 once we get to the B main, if he finds himself winding up there, which is not impossible. It has happened before. So we'll keep an eye out for it. 30 seconds left right now here in our warm-up. Wilson is back out there. He's been carrying great speed over the last few races. We often tout his improvements that he's made in recent times. We'll see if he can keep that one up and rolling as we look at the 45 as well. This is Jason Menda, who is currently out there running in 15th out in the warm-up session, but that session is now over. The clock ticks down to 0. So hopefully everybody got all the laps in that they wanted, because now we get to the serious point where every lap will count. And those qualifying laps could be decisive, depending on how difficult it is to try and make those dive bombs, those slide jobs actually stick here today at this high dependent track. Let's see who's going to be our first ones to get out there. And I see, looks like Patrick Cowgill, one of the new guys, coming in and seeing how he goes.
Yeah, good to see Patrick out here. We're used to seeing him in some other series on the sim, so good to see a fresh face coming out. Looks like the first one to cross the line will be the 77, I believe, there, Bobby Rafferty. Cowgill there. Looks like Rafferty taking that high line. That's a good move there. He wants to carry as much momentum as he can as the New York driver starts his first lap.
Rafferty's been one of those that can at times challenge his teammate on the Jim Beaver Esports team. Proudfoot has raced against him many a time, but it's been a bit since we've seen Bobby beat him on the track. As he comes around for his first lap, I think he was clean, and it was a 19 flat. He'll set the marker. Let's see how everybody else compares.
Well, immediately it's pipped by Patrick Cowgill to the tune of about 0.2 of a second. Chris Hazlip there coming in. Jason Menda bumping his way up to third. And now Kevin Moody, another new face, coming in and getting over in third place.
Interesting. Rafferty immediately went in and parked it. I'm not sure why. I didn't see him wreck. Small correction, he is no longer with the Jim Beaver Esports team, although he was at one time teammates with our multi-time champion. As we watch the 73 come around, Hazlip still down in 8th. His second lap didn't count, unfortunately. Looks like he's going to give a wider berth to that outside wall this time to see if that helps him keep it clean. And it does, but it is not fast, sadly.
Yeah, not able to get it tying up there. So there you see Hazlip, currently the last of the drivers to qualify. Todd Liston, the Hoosier, there running around in 7th. He's able to stay ahead. And there goes Garrett Austin to the top of the list with an 18.885.
Hello, the 34 has clearly got some speed out there today. Stacy Hunter down and across the line. Finds himself 13th. That is his last attempt, so he is not going to go any higher. But we're still waiting on J.R. Shepard, Brandon Proudfoot, and we were waiting on Bobby Hayes, but his first lap is good enough for 5th.
Yeah, so that'll keep him up there, but let's see what Proudfoot does. Proudfoot sticking on that middle line. Justin Morton to the top of the list with an 18.836. Here comes Proudfoot. Proudfoot not going to be able to go faster than that, but it will be second place for the number 22. I just saw Jason Best bumping his way up, and now Northcutt and Hargraves up to the top of the list.
Wow. Okay, it is changing quickly, and Proudfoot is riding the rim right now as he comes out of turn 4. Was this one going to count? It is, but it's slower. He'll give it one more shot. This is his last attempt. Starting down from 4th is not the worst thing, as that could put him within the top split here today, the first heat, which could give him pole position in the feature. Let's see what this last lap holds in store. He has to beat an 18.782, and it's not going to be good enough. An 18.845 will keep him in 4th.
All right, and so that means that Brandon should be starting out on the pole in the 4th heat race if this holds right now. We're still waiting for Ryan Seneker to set a time. Not sure if he's going to do so or not. Proudfoot not able to improve there on that last lap out. Here comes J.R. Shepard, seeing if he can improve anywhere from 8th. Yes, he can. Able to get a little bit faster, but I don't think... Oh, no, it is. That's going to bump him up to 5th.
Nice improvement. One other driver has laps left. That's William Hargraves. He's in 2nd right now and trying desperately to pit Billy Northcutt to the pole. There are points for those top 6 in the qualifying here, so this is all important stuff here. And Hargraves can't go faster. He'll have to settle for 2nd.
Well, he'll be a little upset with 2nd place, but he will be starting off from the lead of the 2nd heat race with that position, so that will be good for him. Joe, this is going to be a really fascinating series of heat races. We've got a lot of really, really quick drivers, and just look at those times. The top looks like 8, separated by less than 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, it is very tight at the top of the field. In fact, the top 4 are split by 6/100ths of a second. Northcutt, Hargraves, Morton, and Proudfoot. The blink of an eye, and you could have missed any of those guys crossing the line here in the qualifying, which is all done at this point, so we're just waiting for the session to take over for our first heat of the night. So I'm sure Northcutt will find this one important because, remember, he is vying for the championship. He's going to take max points here in the qualifying, 6 going to his name. Now, can he back it up with a heat win as well as potentially a feature win here today? Our first heat is going to be Billy Northcutt on the pole. It is going to be J.R. Shepard starting next to him. Then you've got John Wilson starting in third.
Behind John, it's going to be Bobby Rafferty, followed by Austin Smith.
So it looks like we are actually going up to 4 heats today with 20 cars taking part out there. So 4 heats of 5 cars each, and the top 2 in each heat will advance to the feature. Everybody else gets moved to the B main, and that, unfortunately, is the danger zone, because if you have a bad incident at the start, you could be one of the 2 that gets sent home before the big show here today as we take off on the pace lap. So drivers such as Rafferty, Wilson, and Smith starting outside the top 2 have got to make some passes.
Yeah, indeed they do. And I think Rafferty in particular is going to be one to look out for here. That car has been very, very quick all season, and him starting back and forth, he may be a mover and shaker here in this first heat.
Wonder how this start will go as well, DJ. In recent times, we've seen some interesting lines from the drivers as they try to get the best launch possible. Is this one of those where we could see them try to diamond off that exit of turn 4 once they get the green?
I certainly think so. And remember that the leader does have lane choice here. Now, we're seeing Northcutt opting to take the low line, but that may change as the day goes along.
Now, this will be valuable information for everybody else watching. They'll all have to sit and wait for this heat to continue on as the first 5 give us some info, some intel, and waiting for the green flag. The 00 gets on the gas, and we go racing for the first heat of the night. He immediately slots ahead of J.R. Shepard on the high side. Shepard trying to cut down off the bottom of the corner behind them. Rafferty continues to ride up against the wall. No change amongst them. Everybody still in the same order they started.
Yes, they are, but J.R. Shepard trying to challenge a little bit, and there's our first change for position. That is Rafferty working his way past Wilson. Ooh, Rafferty getting into the back of J.R. Shepard there a little bit as he tries to now move down to the bottom line.
Cuts underneath him, but now he's got to make the pass. Can't quite get through on a slide job with J.R. Shepard still there running the middle line. Just pinches him down enough, and Rafferty also dealing with J.R. Shepard blinking a little bit here and there.
Yeah, not exactly the best thing you want to see, but Northcutt allowing himself to pull away a little bit here as that squabble goes on behind. They're going to cross the line here with 3 to go. Another blink out of J.R. Shepard carrying a lot of good speed on that middle line. He's able to almost completely drop Rafferty after that.
Indeed, Rafferty brushes the outside wall through 1 and 2, so that's going to slow him up a little bit, but Wilson not able to take advantage as we watch him back in 4th. Not quite as quick as we thought he was, or hoped he was going to be here today. In the meantime, ahead of it all is our leader, Billy Northcutt, and the 00 has a gap of almost a second over J.R. Shepard. We're getting ready to start the last lap of Heat 1.
Yes, we are. White flag flying for Billy Northcutt. J.R. Shepard still holding on to that final transfer position, making that middle line work quite well. Rafferty not looking like he's got the momentum to take it away.
Northcutt down into the line, will take maximum points here in his heat race with the victory. Behind him, Shepard will advance. Bobby Rafferty gets sent off to the top spot in the B main as Wilson and Smith finish behind them. Also down to the consolation race as we now come to the second heat of the night. And up on the pole for that one, it is William Hargraves. To his outside, it's Garrett Austin starting in 2nd, and Bobby Hayes begins from P3.
Next to Bobby will be Jason Menda, with Stacy Hunter bringing up the back of the grid in 5th.
So it did look pretty tough to pass last time there, DJ. A few drivers getting in there and trying to make some moves, but completing it looked like a pretty tough ask.
Yeah, it certainly did, and I think J.R. Shepard was really one of the ones riding the line to keep an eye on, kind of looking like he was giving an idea about a gap up on the high side and shutting the door just slightly to Bobby Rafferty and forcing Rafferty to back off. So that may be an effective defensive position going forward, and we'll have to check out as this second heat race gets going.
Yep, one lap around, then we'll get another pace lap. Truck will peel in and give way to Hargraves. See if he can hold on to this top spot. You can see Austin there to his outside in the 34 as well. And the first heat probably let some of them know which line was the fast one, which from my eyes seemed to be the outside line for the time being, even though you can see a little bit of a slicked up line down towards the bottom where a lot of people have attempted to run. There goes the pace truck. And now the Dirt Panda car has control. Hargraves waiting for it, looking for the green flag, keeping low on the track as well. He's not diamonding it off. Green flag is out. He gets a very good jump over Garrett Austin, who's under threat because Hayes in the 13 is going to try to slide in front of him, but it's not meant to be. He has to stay low. The 34 gets the momentum.
Yes, he does, holding it out the best that he can, but Hayes trying again on that low side, not able to get the slider. Going to be a little bit of contact at the exit of turn 4. Both cars able to be pointed the straight way, and now it's going to be Bobby Hayes with a little bit of an advantage. There's the room for the slide job. He's able to get in front, but Austin going for the crossover.
Making him work for it. Can he pull the slide job right back on him? He's going to have to, or else he might fall behind after this corner. Looking to just sneak in front of him. He had room, but he didn't take it.
No, he didn't. I'm not sure why he didn't on that, but that's going to keep Hayes up to the outside. Austin down to the low side. Menda starting to set the fastest lap of the race as Hargraves streaks away. That's Menda trying to poke his nose into this battle as well. They're still side by side. Menda has to check up a little bit as they come to the line here for 3 laps to go.
Oof, this is a hard fight for the last transfer spot, and unfortunately, Menda gets shoved into the wall. Hayes gets hit as well. Stacy Hunter, all of 3 of them not in the transfer position, find themselves crumpled in a heap at the back. Austin and Hargraves have an open goal from here on.
Yeah, they really do. And Joe, with what we talked about with this having the implications of losing out of it, this is going to be tough for them. They've got to fight for it. So Austin and Hargraves now coming to the line for the white flag. They are going to be the ones to advance.
Considering the pressure that Garrett was under there for that position, I'm sure he's glad he was able to get out clean and be able to run the remainder of these laps without anybody threatening to steal that spot. So William Hargraves, who comes out into turns 3 and 4, is going to take the win in heat number 2, decisively so, with a full 2.5 seconds over anybody else. It'll be Garrett Austin following him to the feature, with Stacy Hunter, Bobby Hayes, and Jason Menda having to lick their wounds after that one. Wow, okay, completely different complexion from the previous race, with position swapping and drivers finding one another in the worst of ways. Meanwhile, for Heat 3, as the cars start to rack up, Justin Morton will be starting on the pole. It'll be Patrick Cowgill from 2nd place, and Kevin Moody will be in 3rd.
In 4th, it's going to be Todd Liston, followed by Chris Hazlip in 5th.
You just mentioned it. The drivers can't really risk falling out of the feature here today. So seeing that, DJ, do you change your approach a little bit if you're one of the drivers vying for that transfer spot, or is that actually what you want to do? Do you have to try and force the issue to get through because you don't want to fall down to the B main?
Yeah, I really don't want to even risk that thought. With the possibility of actually losing out on the A main, I am going to fight tooth and nail in these heat races to try to make sure I'm up there.
Speaking of up, Justin Morton is our first to switch spots here, I think. He's going to be starting on the high side. So looks like he wants to try and get a little bit of a wider run on that first lap, hold on to that high side down in turn 1. We'll see how that fares for him. They're already on lap 2 in our pace lap. The truck is going to be ducking away here on the back stretch, and Morton will have control. We're halfway through these heats, And already we've gotten some pretty good excitement here in one of the last races of the season in the Bootleg Racing League Dirt Street Stock Series. Justin Morton sizing it up and ripping it out. He is going to take off here up from the pole as the green flag waves. Got a little bit of a threat from behind as it looks like Todd Liston and Patrick Cowgill are vying for second. I think Liston's got it.
I think he does it well, and indeed he's going to slot himself forward. That's Cowgill, one of the newcomers here, trying to fight down on that low line. And remember what I said. Oh, looked like he had a little bit of an overlap there coming out of the corner, but Liston's going to be able to fight it back a little bit. They're still side by side going into 1 and 2.
Cowgill wants that second place back. He knows he needs that to avoid going into the danger zone. Coming up and around 3 and 4, he slides up the hill. A little bit of a touch between himself and Liston, but Liston creeps ahead.
Yes, he does. Liston holding on to that high line that your leader, Justin Morton, is running as well, doing a great job to get it going here. Now, he's got about a car length advantage as they dive into 3 and 4. That is Cowgill behind, trying to stalk in the traces, but losing a little bit of ground.
He's got to start getting close to that rear bumper. If he loses too much room, he's not going to have a chance to attack towards the end of this race. Above it all, that is still Justin Morton looking to win this one from the pole. And pretty much everybody has taken a run into the high side as there was another mistake there from Cowgill, and now the 44 is all over him.
Yeah, indeed, that 44. Oh, a little bit of contact there, and that really almost spun Moody around. And that's Cowgill back up into the wall. They're now 3 wide in the back.
Holy cow, and Moody is able to get up to third. Hayslip, oh, he might have third. As he gets underneath him, Patrick Cowgill behind, regretting that little bobble that he had through 1 and 2. They're going to swap positions once again, and they're going to come together for the second race in a row. Can everybody keep it pointed forward? And ahead of it all, Justin Morton is your winner in this heat. Todd Liston is in second. Somehow Cowgill gets back to third, Moody fourth, and Hayslip has to collect it and trundle home in fifth.
Oh, he's not going to be the happiest about that, I can tell you, but that is going to be good news for Morton and Liston advancing on.
That was a little bit of a comedy of errors there in the back, unfortunately, almost slapstick-like between them. So we now move off to the final heat of the night, and this one has Brandon Proudfoot on the pole. I'm sure he would have liked to have been in that first heat rather so that he could take the pole in the feature, but this is what he's been dealt. Revis will start from second, and Best will start from third.
In fourth, it's going to be Joe Segala, followed by Ryan Seneker in the last of these heat races.
Okay, so for those who don't get through on this one, they're going to be starting some of the farthest positions back in the consolation race. So this one has even more impetus to try and work your way forward, and also more caution needed by Brandon Proudfoot, since a slip up, a challenge, will potentially put him at the very back of the B main field. So let's see, as he decides to start from the high side, what's going to unfold for him in Heat 4.
Well, that's going to be the big question here. We've got the Jim Beaver Esports teammates out front. Are they going to run a little bit of blocking strategy? We'll have to see.
Pace truck now peels in. Proudfoot and Revis certainly would like to make sure both of those JBE cars get automatically through to the feature, but Best, Segala, and Seneca are going to try and deny him. There goes Proudfoot. Green flag is out. It's a good jump down into the first corner. Revis slots in behind, but then ducks down low. Underneath him, Jason Best going ultra low, almost to the tires, but doesn't touch them. No change in position.
None at all. Yeah, that's Best really pushing down to the low line. He's one of the first cars we've seen do it. He's got a pretty good run off the corner, but that momentum for Revis is going to keep him up on the high line. They're going to try it again, going through 1 and 2, and it looks like there that Best is really starting to lose momentum down super low.
I don't think that one is quite working. Not only is it flat down there at the bottom, there's a little bit of anti-camber. It is off camber back there. I think we had a problem for Joe Segala, who clipped the wall. He falls to the last place. Otherwise, that is the 21 you see of Revis on screen, still retaining second place in the last transfer spot.
Yes, he is holding on to it pretty well. He's got a gap there a little bit. It's best just continually trying to ride that line, but you can see just the jump Revis is able to get off the corner. Proudfoot, though, streaking away in front, getting that lead very, very large.
Right on board with the 21, looking back at Jason Best. Now he's trying low. He likes something that he sees down there. Halfway through this heat race, he's switching modes, and he goes back up high through 1 and 2.
Yeah, just experimenting, trying to figure things out the best that he can here. There you see Best just thinking about it, trying to go this way or that. Nothing doing there. Best continually running that lone line. Yeah, still just doesn't have the dive off the corner that he needs. As they take 2 to go here, Best really is going to need something to try to get over Revis for that last transfer position.
So far, I haven't seen anything that inspires hope for the 47. And Proudfoot coming around to take the white flag. 1 to go for the number 22. And no, excuse me, that is the checkered flag. Last lap there for Brandon Proudfoot. He wins. Revis comes in second in Heat 4. Best, Seneker, Segala come in and take up the final positions in our consolation race, which is now getting gridded up. Okay, as we head off to the B main, it is going to be Bobby Rafferty who starts it on the pole. After that, it is Stacy Hunter from second place. Patrick Gaugill will be third. Jason Best starts P4. John Wilson will be fifth, and the outside of the third row is completed by Jason Menda.
Behind Jason Menda in row 4 is going to be Kevin Moody, followed by Ryan Seneker, with Austin Williams and Bobby Hayes lining up 10th. Chris Hazlip and Joe Segala will bring up the back of the field in those perilous drop positions.
Only 10 cars will get through to the feature, as we've had 8 drivers automatically transfer, and we have 12 competing here in this B main. The sun continuing to drift down below the horizon, and the pace truck is now heading off as Bobby Rafferty will be starting from the top spot, and he also likes how that top line looks on these starts.
Yeah, that may be a little bit of a trend that we see now that lines are starting to rubber in, drivers liking to go here or there. Now, Rafferty is a very experienced driver. I think he's going to be one to look away. Hunter and Cowgill behind him, not as well known of drivers in this series, so it's going to be very interesting to see what they do.
We got one more pace lap. Let's see if Hunter tries to go aggressive to take that lead away. What about guys like Patrick Cowgill? Also saw John Wilson get involved in incidents there in their heats. Do they try and play it safer? They know they just need to be within those top 10, and they're going to start within those spots. So while they certainly would love to start higher up, what is the risk versus the reward here today? Already that upper line into 3 looking very slicked up and shiny. We start to see some changes as Rafferty waits for the green, and now he's on it. Green flag is out for the B main here in round 9 of the Bootleg Racing League Dirt Street Stock Series. Down low, Stacy Hunter tries to slide up in front of his rivals, but Jason Best has a little bit better speed at first, and there's some contact between the 31 and the 45.
Yes, they are, but everybody, oh, that looks like that's Best spinning around. There's a big kerfluffle there in the back. That could have, excuse me, that's not Best, that's Menda. Massive implications there for Menda as that puts him in the crucial drop zone.
And no caution. He's got to try and climb his way back the hard way. But meanwhile, we're continuing to watch Wilson and an epic fight here for second place.
Very, very much so. Wilson and Best just absolutely sawing on it, with Hunter trying to come in there as well, running that middle line there. That's the 47 in the middle. Wilson down to the low side. Hunter now getting dropped like a stone, as now it goes side by side between Wilson and Best. They're swapping it all over the place. And that was Cowgill running a very dangerous line in the back.
A little bit of contact with the wall, I think, unfortunately for him. Best running a middle line, liking that clean track that he can see in there, and that's actually helping him a ton. He is clear of John Wilson, so that'll give him second. Meanwhile, the 17 of Hunter's not out of it. He's got Patrick Cowgill right behind him, and the 44 of Kevin Moody below as well.
Yes, they are. This is a big hornet's nest there in the back. Calgo tried to do a little bit of stalking. That's the 17 of Hunter working that high line, but gets a little too over-eager coming off the corner. Calgill's going to take advantage, push down to the inside, but he's going to be on a super slick line. Gets a little bit of grip there mid-corner. I think that's going to be enough for him to drive off, and indeed it is. But
But it's Moody who claims that 4th position ahead of them. The 31 still dealing with the traffic down below him as the 17's not giving it up.
Yeah, the 17 very much sticking it in there. Stacey Hunter holding strong as he can. You can see just how squiggly these cars are coming off at the corner. Almost no grip as the track is completely slicked in there. 2 laps to go here in this B main.
Calgill still on Hunter, looking for a top 5, but we get the white flag. 1 to go for Bobby Rafferty, who's got a full 3 seconds over Jason Best. Poor Jason Menda is still well behind anyone. He and Chris Haslip are looking like the ones that will have to go home here, but Bobby Rafferty will at least get a consolation win here in the B main. He will advance, so will Jason Best, who takes 2nd. Wilson rounds out the podium in this consolation race in 3rd. Moody, Hunter, Calgill, Sagalis, Smith, Seneker, and Bobby Hayes is the last to advance. Say goodnight to Chris Haslip and Jason Menda, who hit the showers early, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that was really all caused by that big kerfluffle we saw earlier on. And so now, Joe, drivers are going to be able to go out on track for a 5-minute warm-up. Now, this is going to be very, very crucial for the drivers that automatically qualified for the A main, as they haven't been on the track in a hot minute, and especially after that B main, they're going to go out here, feel out the track, feel out those lines, feel where the grip is.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game now for those guys, so let's see who is adaptable here in this crucial little practice session. Okay, well, we've seen a few times where drivers get into one another despite a very wide track, DJ, and it seems to be quite costly today if you get involved in an incident.
Well, it's not entirely surprising, Joe. You know, we're not racing a track necessarily like Fairbury or even Williams Grove, where you've really got to get on the brakes to get these cars slowed down. Charlotte is big, it's fast, it's wide and open. And so getting around here, you're coming into these corners at relatively high speeds, and so that little bit of contact there, well, that can really cause some pretty serious damage.
Yeah, so far, so many drivers have suddenly been spun around and all the way to the back of the field. For 2 of them, it wound up being the night ending early. Looks like Bobby Rafferty holding the fastest time of the warm-up for the time being. As the others continue on around, Justin Morton just putting in a good one too. He's been looking quite good today in that number 9. I wonder if he's a bit of a dark horse for the overall victory today.
I think he just might be. I mentioned at the top, J-Mo a lot of times likes to ride the high line. We've seen that high line be pretty dominant around here, so he may have a little something up his sleeve. Looking out over the rest of the times here, the top 5 only separated by about 2.5 tenths of a second. It's Justin now doing a little counter to what I was talking about, seeing what that low line feels like.
Might as well. He's got the time. Laps around here take all of about 20 seconds. So 5 times 3, that would be about 15 laps that you could get in around here. As pretty much everybody is out there. I haven't seen Bobby Hayes or Moody. Moody just set a time, so it's just Bobby Hayes who hasn't set foot on this track during this session quite yet. Brandon Proudfoot now goes fastest of anybody with an 18.829, just 1/100th quicker than Bobby Rafferty. That's interesting.
Very interesting indeed. So very tight here up at the top. Now the top 3 only separated by 37 thousandths of a second. So, Joe, I don't want to jinx anything, but I think we're in for a heck of a battle out here tonight.
And if you're Billy Northcutt, how are you feeling about all this? You know that you've got a small margin over Brandon Proudfoot coming into this race. And now you're going to start 4 positions ahead of him, 3 positions, however you want to count it, ahead of Brandon Proudfoot here today in the feature race. I mean, based on what we've seen from Brandon in most feature races, though, Is that any sort of consolation, or is he still looking over his shoulder and saying, "No, no, here he comes again"?
Oh, no, it's the latter, Joe. He is looking over his shoulder that entire time, I can guarantee you. Well, my best guess is the way that Northcutt's going to want to run this is he is going to want to have the biggest street stock known to mankind. His one objective in this race is going to be to keep Proudfoot behind him at all costs.
He's already outscored him in the lead up to this. Let's keep that in mind too. He scored points in his heat. He scored points in the qualifying as well. So he's made more points than Brandon, who has gotten a few in there. He's stretched away by that little bit more. But if he doesn't finish well in the feature, then he could easily be overtaken in spite of that, as the big points do get handed out in the finale in this series. Just 30 seconds left now before we go racing for 40 laps here at the dirt track at Charlotte. And this could have serious implications for the championship. We'll have to wait and see who is able to finish where and what it will do to that points. Let's also not count out some of the other drivers involved. We've been making such a big deal out of Northcutt and Proudfoot. Bobby Rafferty, third in the points. J.R. Shepard, who still has his own storyline of trying to take that elusive first win. Wasn't able to do it last time out without without Proudfoot here. And being able to do so with Proudfoot here would probably be a very feel-good moment for him. There goes the checkered flag, which means our grid is now ready to line up here today. Let's go through that starting order of 18 cars. It is Billy Northcutt on the pole with William Hargraves to his outside. It's Justin Morton starting in third, followed by Brandon Proudfoot in the fourth position. Then it's J.R. Shepard in P5. To his outside, it's Garrett Austin. After that, you've got Todd Liston in seventh and Jim Revis in eighth. Bobby Rafferty starts ninth and Jason Best in 10th.
In 11th, it's going to be John Wilson, followed by Kevin Moody with Stacy Hunter and newcomer Patrick Cowgill in 14th. Joe Segalo will line up 15th, followed by Austin Smith and Ryan Seneker, with Bobby Hayes, the last of the drivers in the A main.
Alrighty, so here we go. Looks like we got everybody out there. So Pace Truck is going to take off on 2 pace laps, and then we will go for our feature. I love the way that these tracks start to look when the sun just starts to go down. Beautiful orange and golden hues coming off of this dirt, helped by a lot of dirt being kicked into the air, of course, as the cars get going. See the great scenery that iRacing has seen fit to put together around the track, as well as we look back from our leader onto Justin Morton.
Yeah, Justin having a little bit of fun there, trying to do it. Looks like stay where they are. You can see there is that 00 machine choosing to come up to the high line. All right, so he is making that decision.
So no change there. He gets a little bit of a bump from Proudfoot heading into turn 1. Not sure if that was a little bit of a friendly nudge or an accident. Either way, I'm pretty certain, knowing these two, that there's no maliciousness in that tiny bit of contact. They are fierce competitors, but fair competitors with a lot of respect for one another. Northcutt waiting on it as the truck is already in pit lane. There's the green flag, and the 0 is off. Not the greatest jumps over Hargraves on the inside. Hargraves can't get in front of him, though. He just touches the outside wall. That slows him up into Proudfoot behind him. None of them wreck with that one, thankfully. They keep going.
There was a lot of contact in the back there, Joe. I'm not sure how we didn't get a yellow from it, I'll be completely honest, but everybody's starting to go around, and there is the yellow that finally came out.
Austin Smith in the 86 caused this one. It didn't start with him, though. Looks like he's going to plow into John Wilson. Not sure why John was so slow on the track.
I think it looked a little bit like there was some contact coming out of turn 2 here. Yeah, Wilson already sideways, just trying to hold it down the backstretch. He gets a plunk in the backside there and starts to go around a little bit. So there you see, that was the initial contact that I saw, Joe. Ooh, ow, ooh, and wow, that is amazing car control from Wilson.
Yeah, and it just ping-ponged its way through the field. A lot of cars made contact, and Austin Smith came out the worst, winding up into last place. Now, if this is your first time joining us for a dirt race here in the Bootleg Racing League, they do not count the caution laps on the dirt side. So while we may have gotten a quick caution, we are going to restart on lap 2 and not on lap 5.
And so that means that we are in for a full 40 laps of action out here. Up at the front, it is still the way we left it with, that is going to be Northcutt and Hargraves side by side with Proudfoot and Morton behind them.
Northcutt once again electing to take the high side next to his Dirt Panda teammate. William Hargraves last time got a pretty good start on him, then made contact with the outside wall coming into turn 1. Green flag is out. Not as good of a start, but this actually might hurt him because the 22 immediately fills up the gap, and it looks like Hargraves has no place to go. He wants to drift up, but there is the Jim Beaver Esports driver.
Yes, indeed he is, and there you see Northcutt doing a little bit about what I talked about, just trying to keep Proudfoot behind him, maybe blunt that momentum a little bit with a modified slide job. Now they're both going to go high line through 1 and 2. That's all 3 of your leaders. Justin Morton getting a big thwap into the wall behind him. Proudfoot starting to look feisty.
And we got another caution, trying to see what caused this one, but Northcutt was really up into the wall there for a moment. Oh, it looks like this was the 34 of Garrett Austin. He's going to make some contact with the 44 of, that would be Ryan Seneker, rather.
Oh, we just didn't see him there. He did not see the 44 of Seneca as he came up onto the main straight. Remember, we saw that a couple of weeks ago out. If I remember correctly, it was at Lernerville, and I believe Chris Davis was involved in a similar incident, just giving a little bit of a pinch coming on the main straight.
Yeah, I do remember that one. That that was an unfortunate one. Just sometimes hard to keep your wits about you here on the dirt side of things, especially on those restarts when everybody's frantic to try and make passes. We're only on lap 3 now. We did barely get a full one in at pace, but we're going to have to work on that. And I think Billy Northcutt probably feeling a little bit more nervous now. Not only did he make contact with the outside wall there just as we got the caution, but now his old rival, Brandon Proudfoot, is going to be restarting to his inside.
Yeah, so this is where things are going to get interesting. And if it's Northcutt that is doing this, staying on the high line, he's going to have to hope that Proudfoot doesn't throw too aggressive of a slider there and really throw off his momentum.
I think we're going green this time by here. Yep, there goes the pace truck. Proudfoot steal one out this early on. It certainly looks like he's quick. Usually is a lot faster in the races than in qualifying. So we wait for the green. There it goes. Ooh, he does a very good job keeping even with him as the 0 pulls a slight nose ahead up into turn 1. And here comes Justin Morton, though. Morton just flying around the outside of turns 1 and 2. It is not a pass for the 22. He almost looks like he's going to lose second place.
Indeed it is. That's JMO on the high line, making it work to perfection. They're side by side as they cross the timing and scoring line. And that's still Proudfoot trying to dive down on the inside. But again, that momentum from Morton. He loves that high line through 1 and 2.
Looks incredibly smooth right now, making sure that Proudfoot has to work for it. Proudfoot tries for a bit of a slider. The 0 is next to him. No chance there. Northcutt retains the lead. And in fact, the 9 gets back into second. Now getting up to the outside while the 22 gives up on the bottom.
He does indeed. He's got to be looking at his mirrors now as Hargraves looked a little feisty there for a second. That's Northcutt trying to go to that middle line again, cut up on the slider, but Morton's got the momentum. He's going to try to get alongside as they go onto the straightaway. He's got the momentum. He's across on the start line.
And he's got the high side. Trying to slide up in front of him, just blunts his momentum in time. That checks up all of them. Morton tries to go underneath. He just about gets the overlap into there. He now tries the slide job, but up into the wall goes the 00. Northcutt a little bit sloppy today behind behind them, 3 wide, as we also go 2 wide for the lead. Morton and Northcutt duking it out.
And that was an incredibly opportunistic move from Revis. Almost a little bit of a bump draft there between Morton and Proudfoot. They're 3 wide again going into turn 3, Joe.
All for second place. And down at the very bottom, that is Jim Revis. Where in the world did he come from? The 21 briefly into the lead, but Morton's trying to come back into this. He wants that lead back. A try for a slide job from Revis goes south. He is very slow. Everybody behind him suffers from it.
They do indeed. Northcutt's got himself a little bit of an advantage. That's Revis trying to cut up on the slide job to be able to blunt the force of Morton. Morton does have to check up. They're 2x2 Noah's Ark style as they cross the line. That's Proudfoot down on the super low line, tries to cut it up, and he's going to have to cut it off. Oh, big slap there from Revis into the back of Brandon Proudfoot.
I don't think they've been single file since the drop of the green tonight. This is incredible stuff. Proudfoot cutting underneath of the likes of Hargraves. Can't quite fully get it past. He's sandwiched between himself and Revis. Still now ducking down under as he tries to slide job. It looks like Hargraves is going to be able to get back ahead of Proudfoot. This is the best thing that Billy Northcutt could have ever hoped for. He's pulled away to half a second.
He has indeed, and coming out of turn 2 on that last lap, Joe, is the best defense of a slide job I think I've seen. There was millimeters between Hargraves and Proudfoot. Oh, that's Revis and Proudfoot hard into each other. They check each other up. Behind them, that's Rafferty and Shepard starting to get interested in this battle as well. But Hargraves has found some clean air. He's starting to close down on his Dirt Panda teammate, Billy Northcutt.
They got to be careful. That was more than panel to panel. He hit the suspension of that 22. That's the last thing that Proudfoot needs here. He falls down to third as behind them. Morton and Revis still fighting as Rafferty gets a little bobbly out of turn 2. He collects it. There you can see them just behind our top 3.
Yeah, because now we have a moment to breathe. And even as I say that, we see Jim Revis trying to work that low side yet again, but he's going to lose out to Justin Morton running the high side. And that looks like they're the... that's gonna be Rafferty starting to poke his nose as well. But this front battle starting to close in a little bit more. Proudfoot really stalking down Hargraves here. All 3 leaders up on the high line.
Now that he doesn't have to play defense at the same time, this is going to be a different story, I think. Brandon Proudfoot can really focus forward now. Oh, but he taps the wall once again. A lot of drivers have been doing that today. Off of 4. Getting ever closer to the rear bumper of Hargraves.
Yes, they are, and he is right there behind him now. Now, the real question here is going to be is if these two start to really squabble here, is that going to bring the rest of the field into contention? Already, Justin Morton looking like he's closing a little bit as Proudfoot has to check up a little bit across the line, courtesy of a little bit of a block there. Ooh, I think that was some contact into the wall for Proudfoot going into 1.
And we had a caution. Patrick Cowgill looks involved in this one. Trying to see if it started with him. No, it did not. Looks like Jason Best and Joe Segala are going to be the initial trigger.
All right, so we go back to check out this replay. That's Segala right there. Best just got a little bit too sideways. Segala carried a little bit too much speed through the corner. Oh, big thwap there for Cowgill.
Cowgill got branded, unfortunately, and just T-boned the side of that car. Hopefully it's drivable after that. There you can see he sees it coming. He tries to get woed up, and then, well, there's nothing he could do from there. He was just kind of a sitting duck prone across the track. Incredibly, with all these cautions that we had early on, we've only, we lost Austin Smith briefly, but he took his spare car. He's back out there. Garrett Austin did similar, and I think Cowgill will be the latest. So no DNFs of our 18 so far.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. We didn't mention it in the pre-race, but these drivers do get a spare car out here today. All right, so now as we get ready to go, it's Dirt Panda 1-2. That's Northcutt and Hargraves.
Northcutt, for a brief moment, had the lead to himself and wasn't having to fend people off, but let's see if his teammate... Oh, and they're going to call off the green here. So we'll get one more lap around behind the pace truck. There it emerges very hurriedly back out on the track surface.
Yeah, so I think just cycling through some of those cars that suffered that damage, getting them back around so they can get everything to go. Should be going green this time by, from what I can see.
I believe so. Yeah, it was just extended by 1 lap. So pace truck immediately back in. Oh, and Have they waved it off again? I'm getting the message in my ear that they're going to wave it off. Not sure what they're unhappy with.
Looks like we've got a stopped car out there. I think that's Kevin Moody waiting for him to catch up, as well as Austin Smith to catch up to the back of the field. I also see Cowgill coming out of the pits right now.
Well, glad to see we'll have more drivers at least start to get involved. And the nice thing is, with all this happening under caution, they do not lose laps under caution there. We going this time by? I think we're finally going. Yes, we are. Nope, we are not. There is the pace truck still. I don't think even the drivers know what's going on at this point.
No, I think this is a little bit confusing for all of this, but all right, there's the pace truck. I don't see lights. I think this is it.
Yes, here we go. Pace truck is in, and we are ready to go. Hargraves wanting to get on this, try and overtake his teammate, see if he can steal the win from him. Be the third different driver to win this season. And Northcutt is on it. Green flag is out. Not the best of jumps for the 00. Behind them, Morton also on the high side, but he gets pinched. He's into the wall, riding it all the way around the corner, and he falls back. That also slows up Hargraves, meaning Proudfoot is already into second.
Yeah, and there was some contact there in the back. I think Jason Best, oh, that's the 19 of Seneca around. This is for sure going to be a yellow.
We're watching there for a moment. That was Morton, who probably has good reason to be salty now, unfortunately. Jason Best was the one that brought out that caution, but there are multiple incidents going on here. Here's the 19 on your screen.
Yeah, and this was really all caused by that hit with Morton that kind of pinballed all the way down through the field.
Yeah, there's the 47 of Best. And he was trying his best to hold on to it, but it just wasn't meant to be. And the 19 of Seneca, also the other one who unfortunately had an incident even after the yellow was thrown, just trying to keep the car under control.
Yeah, so we'll re-rack this here again. Unfortunate blow there for Justin Morton. Looks like he is taking a spare car here at this point. I think he should be able to get back out. Hopefully he will on the lead lap. No, he's not. He's going to go a lap down.
Well, remember, the laps don't count here under caution. So I believe he will be counted on the same lap.
I had not considered that, Joe. Thank you for that.
Thank the SRX series. That's the one that really kind of made me realize, oh, that is a good point. So yeah, Morton is back out, and it looks like he's being counted on the lead lap, and we're getting ready to go green. If Morton can get caught up here. I think he is just getting to the back of the group. So Northcutt once again taking the green flag. It's a better run for him this time, and this allows Hargraves to get up to the top side. Same thing with Proudfoot. It's a battle for fourth behind them, which looks like Rafferty's going to come out ahead of Revis and J.R. Shepard vying for P5 as they fan out through 3 and 4. Everybody taking different lines now. Take your pick.
Yeah, it's a real driver's choice there as they make their way around. Rafferty starting to put pressure, though, onto the back of Brandon Proudfoot as they come in. Proudfoot, it looked like he had a little bit of a good run there through 2, but backed off, I think, ever so slightly on Hargraves. Again, that's Proudfoot running that high line, that narrow strip of good dirt up there by the wall.
Rafferty just poking his nose here and there. And we get another caution, and I think Jason Best involved yet again.
Yeah, Best just having a rough race out here today.
He's going to get a touch from Garrett Austin here. See him get close to that left-hand side of the car. And boop, there you go. Just that little touch. Both of them around. Come to an almost immediate halt through the corner. And that was enough to set the iRacing stewards off into a yellow.
All right, so we'll re-rack again here at the halfway point.
Morton made his way up into 14th, it looks like, after that restart. Still has a lot of work to do to get back to where his pace was showing him capable of running. only at the halfway mark of this race. So far, this has been working out in favor of Billy Northcutt, but Lady Luck can't always be on your side, and if he keeps getting these cautions, at some point will it force him to slip up and get into a battle, allowing the 22 through.
I mean, he's got to hope he doesn't, but the one thing that he will have working for him is the fact that William Hargraves is one of his Dirt Panda teammates. Now, everybody's out here fighting for the win, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to championship implications, I gotta think that if we get a little farther into this, there may be a little conversation between those two saying, hey, hold up the 22 for me.
I mean, what better team to try that than the Dirt Pandas? Pandas are pretty wide, so that'll certainly help him out. As we get ready to go racing, the pace truck is in. Here we go for Billy Northcutt. He has not beaten the likes of Brandon Proudfoot on track all season long. His one win came when Brandon was not here. Green flag is out. Once again, he's able to get ahead fully of his teammate Hargraves, going way down to the bottom. The 22 in that yellow car is going to try and slide up, but it does not work for him. He falls back to third. Rafferty now following him down low. In fact, everybody up at the front getting a little low, and we get another caution on top of it. I think Seneker. In fact, whoa, my goodness. Seneker seems to have found one of the tires here.
Oh, we haven't talked about these tractor tires here, Joe, but if you get down too close to that low line, it will come back to bite you. Riding on board with him here, he's got a pretty decent line coming out of 1 and 2. Oh, he got a little bit of help and then found that tire nice and good.
You know what? I think he had some suspension damage from that bump because that wheel was cranked all the way left and it just wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, I think you're right, Joe. You just saw the way that that car was not steering at all. And so, yeah, it got a big enough of a whap. He's been involved with a couple incidents before, so I think that's probably just a little bit too much for that machine to have handled.
Are we going to see attrition actually start to rear its head here? This will be something incredible. Not something I would have expected for a track like this, but our 18 cars might become 17 pretty soon because Seneker's still not back out on track. And are we getting too wide? Yes, we are getting ready to go this time around as the pace truck leads them through 1 and 2. We've seen the 22 try a whole lot of different things. Nothing's got him by quite yet. And the racing gods have smiled upon Billy Northcutt. Credit to him, though. Can't put this completely up to luck. He's been defending well. He's been running pace well and has overcome the pressure that is mounting on that helmet. Green flag is out. The Zero gets a very good run once again. I think he's got that timed out with his teammates. We go 3 wide for third. Rafferty, Proudfoot, and Revis.
Yeah, looks like Bobby Rafferty is going to be able to get down to that low line. He's going to try a slide job now to get around Hargraves. It works, but Hargraves fighting back, gets the crossover and gets ahead, but they're still fighting it out there for P4.
Now Proudfoot tries to go underneath him off the corner, but he can't carry the speed. Rafferty and Revis still watching from behind. Slide job from the 22, but he drifts all the way up into the wall, and Hargraves is easily passed.
Yes, he is. That slider not working too well for Proudfoot. Oh, that's contact! That's Proudfoot getting dunked around, and that is Rafferty getting down onto the grass, trying to hold it together. Can he do it?
No caution, but poor John Wilson is beached. He's on the top of the tire. He has to take a tow, and there's no yellow to save him. He will go laps down here. Oh, horrible end for Wilson there, as our top 3 is now Northcutt, Hargraves, and Revis, and far more spread out than we've seen all race long.
Indeed, but it is a positive hornet's nest back there between about P6 and P10. Everybody running multiple wide there, and right in the thick of it, the big loser from that fight, that was Brandon Proudfoot.
Just can't seem to get away from the chaos today. He's going to try and get underneath Liston, and that will put him back into the top 5. Still not what he's going to be hoping for here today. as we are now into lap 27. The battle behind him continues as Liston smacks the wall. Hayes is underneath him. Looks like Best. And how about this? Justin Morton is back within the top 10.
Yes, he is. JMO doing a good job to keep his way going forward. I think he's a little bit frustrated here. Probably wants to be up on that high line. He's not really able to make as much progress as he would like to, going low there, but a little bit of fight in front of him between Best and Hayes. There goes Justin back to that top line we've seen him be so successful at.
We've been watching the 22, though. In the meantime, Proudfoot has closed down on J.R. Shepard. He's making quick work of the distance. He lost to our leaders. He's going to give him a little hello through 1 and 2. Coming off the turn, though, he can't keep up the momentum.
No, just can't make it work, but Proudfoot already showing off his moves. There comes JR, though, trying to fight back. They're going to be side by side, go across the line. Shepard to the inside, Proudfoot to the outside.
JR's learned a thing or two in these last couple years on the dirt, but he gets cut underneath as Proudfoot is able to pass him and now officially take 4th place. We've lost 2 cars now finally. Rafferty and Seneker have DNF'd officially.
All right, so down to 16 cars running here as we take down with 10 laps to go. This battle up front starting to get a little bit spicy as Hargraves has closed down the gap to his teammate.
Well, now that he doesn't have the 22 behind him, I guess all bets are off. And will we see it be Panda versus Panda? Can Hargraves steal the win away from Northcutt, once again denying him from max points, even though it's not looking like we're going to get a win out of Brown and Proudfoot. Speaking of which, Revis and Proudfoot now fighting for a podium position as well, as underneath there goes Hargraves briefly, but that doesn't work. Coming off of 4, a little bit of momentum for the 22. We hop on board with him. He's going to try and go underneath as well.
Yes, he is, and I think he's got a little bit of a run there. He's at least got a nose ahead as they dive into 3 and 4. Revis trying to go to the outside. You can see all the damage on that car already. He goes for a little bit of a crossover as that was Proudfoot getting a little bit squirrely. Little bit of contact as they come across the main straightaway.
They both hold on to it, though. Oh, and more contact. Beautiful slide job from the 21 just in front of the 22. Proudfoot tries to go underneath him all the way to the bottom. Chucks it up high. What is this going to do? It's going to get him the spot. That is an incredible move as low as he went, and we get a caution again. John Wilson, I think, for this one. John Wilson, and it looks like the 86 of Austin Smith.
All right, so that's Wilson down low, Smith up high. Let's see what happens here. There's a pretty decent gap in between the two. Smith gets up into the wall, climbs it, and shoots down the track, and Wilson, a helpless passenger, gets a big clip of the tractor tire.
That sends Smith down in for repairs. And Wilson, I'm not sure if he will have to do likewise. Looks like he may have already. Okay, then. How many different situations can Billy Northcutt go up against today and still retain the lead? He's got to survive for 6 more laps for a long-awaited win here in the Dirt Street Stock Series. And interestingly, we have to remember we're within 10 laps of the finish, which means single file from here on out on the restarts.
Yeah, and that's going to be a little bit of a blessing to Northcutt. He's going to be very, very happy about that, I can guarantee you. But he is not going to be happy about the fact that Brendan Proudfoot has already made his way back up to 3rd. That is going to be a big, big concern to him right on board here with the 22.
Yeah, if this hadn't have gone yellow, we have to remember that there was a bit of a gap from those top 2 back to the rest of the pack because of all the infighting that had happened. So that cuts it down to nothing and allows Proudfoot a lot less of time to try and just play catch-up, let alone attempting to pass, as the pace truck is now in. And Billy Northcutt is going to lead the way. The Dirt Pandas are 1-2 over the Jim Beaver Esports, who are 3-4. Looking for the green flag, and he's on it. The 0 takes off. Can he make it back around in 6 laps ahead of all other challengers? They all ride the rim around 1 and 2, each of them just tipping the wall, and maybe a little bit too much there for Northcutt as the car slides around. He tries to go down low, covering off Hargraves on a potential slide job behind them. Proudfoot carries the speed. Can he do something into one?
He's not going to be able to do it. Hargraves playing a pretty good rear gunner there for his teammate, but he's trying to take a little bit of a look. At least he was before he got very friendly there with the wall. Proudfoot now going back up to the high line. Little bit of a graze there, trying to get around to the outside of Hargraves. Hargraves lets that tail slide out and blunts the momentum the best he can.
Oh, but he couldn't get up in front of him. There was some overlap. He had to give him space, and the 22 is going to use it to his advantage. We are 3 laps to go. He's into second place. He has only 2 laps this time by to try and overtake Billy Northcutt. Can he do the unthinkable and once again beat his rival? White flag, or 2 laps to go here as they cross. He is right there. There's only 2 tenths between them, but he touches the wall once again.
Not able to complete it working there, but there he goes, getting super sideways, trying to carry as much speed as he can through the corner. That's going to be Northcutt trying to hold it on. Proudfoot coming with a little bit of steam. Now Proudfoot goes low.
Into the wall goes the 0. The slide job from the 22, and he gets hit from behind. Northcutt runs into him as they both try and battle for the lead on the last lap. Down low, looking for the shot. Who is it gonna be? Can he beat him? This could be a championship deciding moment, and Northcutt has got it.
Oh my goodness gracious, Joe. I thought for sure when Billy went down to the low side that he was gonna lose out, but able to get it through by sheer determination. Billy Northcutt taking the win at Charlotte.
Unbelievable stuff between our 2 rivals. If I didn't know any better, I almost wonder if Proudfoot lifted a little out of 4. I kind of think he felt guilty about that slide job and getting run into. And there you see him start to fall back a little bit. Regardless, he gave up valuable points to Northcutt, which means it's a bigger gap coming into the final 2 rounds of the Bootleg Racing League Dirt Street Stock Series, which we will see those unofficial results here soon. And we'll come back with driver interviews as well, so don't go away. Welcome back to the dirt track at Charlotte. We just watched round 9 of the Bootleg Racing League Dirt Street Stock Series. Billy Northcutt has taken the win for the first time this entire season. Someone has beaten Brandon Proudfoot on the track, who finished second just behind him. William Hargraves came in third, making it a 1-3 for the Dirt Pandas as Jim Revis finishes in fourth, and J.R. Shepard winds up fifth, which is kind of incredible because that's where he started, and I don't think anybody stayed in the same position this whole race. Justin Morton was sixth. It was a good climb back, but I'm sure he could have had more if it wasn't for that moment getting sent to the back of the field. Jason Best was seventh, and Bobby Hayes was eighth, and it was Patrick Calgill P9 and Todd Liston in 10th.
In 11th, it was Joe Sigala, followed by Stacy Hunter, with Garrett Austin and Kevin Mooney lining up behind them. John Wilson was 15th, followed by Bobby Rafferty, falling victim to some pretty hard hits there, with Ryan Seneker and Austin Smith rounding out your field.
That takes us to our winner here today, Billy Northcutt, who will extend his points lead over Brandon Proudfoot. And Billy, you finally managed to win when we had Brandon Proudfoot here. I'm trying to remember when the last time you've actually done that is, but how does it feel to get in victory lane again?
Yeah, man, it feels pretty good. I mean, it's been quite a while. It was Lanier last season, I believe, that I won a race that he had been in. And this one, I mean, I qualified first, so that put me out front, and there was a lot going on behind me that entire race. So it let me kind of sneak out to the lead each time and get a decent enough lead to just ride it out without any stress. And then that last caution came out, and I was like, oh man, I could feel the icing, the kicker thing going on. And I mean, we went into 1 and 2 on that last turn, and I slammed the wall about as hard as you possibly can, it felt like. And I tried to come off of it as quick as I could, but it was just stuck on there. And then when I finally did and ran into Brandon, and we went into 3 and 4, kind of just both out of sorts because of that. And, you know, I mean, I came out with the win, but it ain't even about that in here. It's just more just the fun. And I mean, I may not have been the best car at the end, actually. I don't think I was, but I mean, the things worked out my way, and you know, sometimes you just got to take one when you can get it.
Yeah, we had talked during the broadcast about the respect between both you and Proudfoot, as big a rivals as you two are. Obviously, he's taken the lion's share of the wins so far, but with his absence and with you beating him today, you go into 2 rounds to go with a points lead. How realistically do you look at a championship?
Oh, you know, I mean, honestly, because I can qualify decent and I can win a lot of heat races, and then if I just stay consistent up there in the top 5 or 6 or so, you know, it puts me in a position. Sadly, though, I am going to the IMCA Super Nationals next week, and I'm going to miss my first race ever since joining the league, and I'm gonna miss and give it right back to him and kill all the fun on that. So I do apologize about that. That kills a little bit of the excitement for the end of the season. But I mean, I would bet on him taking it back from me anyway, but it's too bad we don't get to play it out and have some fun with it.
Well, it's our job to find some drama, so don't worry. We'll find something to talk about. Is there anybody you want to thank that helped make this victory possible?
Yeah, man, I'd like to thank everybody that watches me, all my family and friends that watch and motivate me to keep getting better and stuff. And my team, Dirt Pen has been getting on and really practicing a lot more than we used to, and we're gaining a lot of momentum. I think this year I've won like 44 of my 64 official races, and I just don't quite have what it takes to beat Brandon most nights and stuff. But they've just been really supportive, and we practice a lot. And when you race and practice with guys like William and JC Floyd and all the rest of the guys on the team, then nobody's really too intimidating. You feel like you at least have a puncher's chance against anybody.
Certainly, and this has been giving us some fun to watch. So that was Billy Northcutt, our winner here today in round 9. And up next, we have second place, Brandon Proudfoot with DJ.
Well, Brandon, I'm not used to normally talking to you down here in second, but I got to say, man, that was a heck of a show to put on, a fierce battle up and down through the field. How you feeling?
Good. It was a really, really tough track, and restarting on that inside is a pain.
No, it for sure is. Now, I have to ask you a question here. We watched back the replay coming through that final lap with Billy. Did you lose a little bit of traction coming off of turn 4? Was there a lift there? Or what was going on?
Nope, 100% lift. A lot of people here on iRacing, we have the privilege of running mirrors, but with me being a rookie in real life and trying to not get used to it this entire season, I've actually disabled the mirror. So in that slide job there in 1 and 2, I assumed I parked it on him. I assumed I spun the tires going in and just completely nuked him. So 3 and 4 there, whenever I heard that he was still behind me, I lifted out to see if it was him. And once I seen that it was him, while I did kind of a little bit of a slider line there, I lifted off and let him go.
Gotcha. Well, Brandon, it's one of the reasons we love talking to you, man. We love that kind of sportsmanship that all of you guys display. But I got to ask you, looking ahead, looking forward, we're closing in on the championship. Billy says that he sounds like he's not going to be here next week, and that may swing a little bit more momentum back your way. How you feeling about a three-peat?
Pretty confident. It's a shame that I can't battle it out with Billy, but I'm not sure what the points are with everybody else. I'll have to check that after tonight. But it was a pretty good showing here. Ended up getting second here at Charlotte. Not sure what the 2 remaining tracks are for the season here, but I'm pretty confident that I can try to go for a 3.
Well, we'll be watching for it for sure, my friend. Anybody you'd like to thank here for this second place?
Of course, Fistful of Bourbon, winners get whiskey. Congratulations, Billy. General Tire, Polaris RZR, Vision Wheel, Chris Leone Motorsport Drop, all the guys hosting the league, you guys here at GSRC for doing the broadcast, and congratulations, Billy, on the win there, and shame we won't be able to bat about a nice win.
Well, that was your second place finisher there, Brandon Proudfoot. And now Joe Peak has caught up with your third place finisher, William Hargraves.
Well, hopefully, William, you've had some time to try and untwist your neck because, my goodness, you had to be looking in every direction that race.
Yeah, that got pretty wild there for a while, for sure.
Now, we talked a little bit about how you've had your teammate up there with the Dirt Pandas. How much talk was there between, or was there any talk between the two of you about working together, knowing that you had Brandon back there for much of the race?
Oh, I'm going to be straight honest about this. There was no talking about anything, and Billy did what he had to do, and he should. He's the race leader there, but it's almost impossible to start a race on the inside when you don't get to set the pace. It's really hard, and it's like I say, it's almost impossible to make anything happen there, and it starts getting real wild for people behind us just because of it, because everybody's fighting for that top groove right away.
Well, after this one, we head back to Ohio for Lima Land, and that's going to be a little bit tighter confines with such a short lap around there. Are you looking forward to a tiny bull ring?
Yeah, for sure. Lima Land's a good track. It gets pretty racy, and hopefully by the end of it, that bottom groove might come back in too as well some. So we'll see what happens.
Well, just watch out for those tires. We had some guys hit them today, and they're going to be even more of a problem there. Anybody you want to give a shout out to while we got you?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. I'd like to thank Luell for putting this all on for us guys to come in and have fun every Friday night. I got to thank my family for watching, my Dirt Panda Racing teammates, Melm Electric, and Blue Sky Builders.
That was William Hargraves, who finished third here today. That's our podium, and that's going to wrap up our interviews. So we want to give a big thank you, of course, to the Bootleg Racing League for also bringing us back for another season of coverage, and a thank you to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcasts that you see listed here on your screen. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Check out our Bandcamp for more great work. And thanks to the team today, DJ, Sean, and Dougie. You can find more info about GSRC, globalsimracingchannel.com, or through our social media listed on the screen. Also, check out our merchandise store at simracingmerch.com/GSRC. We keep a link in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment here on the channel. As we mentioned, in a week's time, it's going to be, 2 weeks' time, we go to Lima Land. That'll be Friday, September 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out. Mark them down on your calendar. Until next time, race clean, race hard. See you on the track.